The air in the bedroom felt thick, like breathing through a wet cloth, as I stared at the ultrasound photo clutched in my trembling hand. The grainy image of a tiny, curled form, a life, supposedly ours, mocked me from the nightstand where Sarah had left it, casually, like a grocery receipt. Her soft hums drifted from the bathroom, oblivious to the storm tearing through my chest. I'd found the photo an hour ago, tucked inside her purse, but it wasn't the baby that stopped my heart. It was a date stamped in the corner, 6 months ago. We'd been trying for a child for only 3. The hum stopped. The bathroom door creaked open, and Sarah stepped out, her hair damp, a towel wrapped loosely around her. Her eyes flicked to the photo in my hand, and for a split second, her smile faltered, a crack in her perfect mask. "You're home early, Tom," she said, voice light but edged with something sharp, like glass under silk. She reached for the photo, but I pulled it back, my pulse hammering in my ears. "Whose is it?" My voice came out low, jagged, barely mine. Her lips parted, but no words came. The silence was louder than any lie she could have told. The past few months rewound in my mind, a reel of half-noticed moments I'd brushed off as paranoia. The late-night texts she'd angled away from me, claiming they were from her sister. The way she'd linger in the driveway after wake, her car engine idling too long, as if she needed time to compose herself before facing me. The perfume on her scarf last week, musky, unfamiliar, not hers. I'd rationalize it all, clinging to the love we'd built over 7 years, the promises we'd whispered under starlit skies. But now, with that ultrasound burning my palm, each memory felt like a pinprick, bleeding doubt. "Tom, you're overthinking this," Sarah said, her voice steady now, practiced. She stepped closer, her bare feet silent on the hardwood. "It's ours. You know I've been irregular. The dates could be off." Her eyes held mine, wide and pleading, but there was a flicker of something else. Fear, maybe, or calculation. I wanted to believe her. Good, I wanted to. But the math didn't lie, and her eyes did. I turned away, my gaze landing on the framed photo on our dresser, us at the lake last summer, her head on my shoulder, both of us laughing. The memory felt like a bruise now, tender and discolored. "Don't," I said, my throat tight. "Don't lie to me, Sarah. Not about this." She froze, and the room seemed to hold its breath. The hum of the refrigerator downstairs, the distant bark of a neighbor's dog, the faint ticking of the clock, it all pressed against the silence between us. Then she sighed, a sound heavy with resignation, and sat on the edge of the bed. "It's not what you think," she began, but her voice cracked, betraying her. The story spilled out in fragments, each word a shard embedding itself deeper. A colleague, Mark, from her marketing firm. Late nights at the office that weren't always about work. A moment of weakness, she called it, her voice trembling with what I wanted to believe was guilt. But as she spoke, her hands twisted in her lap, and her eyes avoided mine, darting to the ultrasound like it was a lifeline. She swore it was over, that the baby was mine, that the dates were a mistake. But the timeline gnawed at me, relentless, like a splinter under my skin. I thought of Mark, his smug grin at the company barbecue, the way he'd lingered too long when shaking my hand. I'd dismiss it as arrogance, but now it felt like a taunt. My stomach churned, a mix of nausea and rage. "When did it start?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. She hesitated, and that pause was an answer in itself. "Last spring," she admitted, her voice so soft I almost missed it. "Spring, when we were picking out nursery colors, planning a future." The betrayal wasn't just a moment. It was a season, a parallel life she'd lived while I slept beside her. Trusting. I wanted to scream, to shatter the framed photo, to demand why. But instead, I stood there, rooted, the ultrasound crumpling in my fist. My mind raced, replaying every tender moment we'd shared since spring, now tainted. Had she been thinking of him when she kissed me? When we made love, was it guilt or love in her sighs? The questions clawed at me, each one drawing blood. "I need air," I muttered, stumbling toward the door. Sarah called after me, her voice desperate. But I couldn't look at her. The house felt too small, its walls closing in with every step. Outside, the night air was cool, sharp against my skin, but it couldn't drown out the noise in my head. I walked, aimless, the streetlights blurring through the tears I hadn't realized were falling. Hours later, I found myself at a bar, the kind of place where the lights are dim and the conversations are hushed. My phone buzzed. Sarah, again, but I ignored it. Instead, I opened my email, my fingers moving before my brain caught up. Mark's work address was easy to find. We'd all been CC'd on a group email once. My hand shook as I typed, the words pouring out like venom. The ultrasound, the dates, Sarah's confession. I attached a screenshot of a text I'd found on her phone weeks ago, one I convinced myself was innocent. Mark's name, a heart emoji, a time and place. I hit send, copying her entire office, her friends, our families. The betrayal wasn't just mine anymore. It was public, raw, undeniable. When I got home, the house was dark, Sarah's car gone. On the kitchen counter, a note in her handwriting. I'm sorry. I'll explain everything. Please don't hate me. Beside it, the ultrasound, now creased and torn. I sank to the floor, the weight of what I'd done crashing over me. I'd wanted her to hurt, to feel the sting of exposure, but now the silence felt like a punishment of my own making. The next morning, my phone lit up with messages. Shock, pity, anger from people I barely knew. Sarah's sister called, her voice thick with tears, begging me to talk to Sarah, to hear her out. But then came the email that stopped me cold. From Mark. No subject line. Just a single sentence. The baby's not mine either. My heart lurched. If not his, then whose? Or had Sarah lied to us both, weaving a web so tangled even she couldn't escape it? I stared at the note she'd left, her words blurring through my tears. The truth was out there, somewhere, but it felt like chasing shadows. All I knew was the love I'd held for her was gone, replaced by a hollow ache and a question that might never have an answer.